Housing prices have already fell, but by how much, and what does that mean for the housing market as a whole in 2023, and how much further will housing prices actually go? What's up YouTube, Biz Matthew here. In today's video, we're going to talk about home prices and how much they already fell and how much lower do we expect them going down. So be sure to subscribe to this channel for some more content around the housing market in general as a whole. So listen to this story right here. In San Diego, the price of a home has dropped 10%. According to CoreLogic. In November, the median home price in the county was $765,000. Just a few months earlier in May, the median home price was $850,000. So this article is essentially saying the San Diego County fell already 10% in home prices just in a few months in 2022. And if you compare a lot of different counties and cities around America, you look at the peak, which was in May or June of 2022, and you look at the most recent reading of their median home price, it's close to already 10%. And that's crazy that home prices already fell that much to 10%. And so how much more further they will go? And the thing is, people don't realize that home prices are falling. They're like, okay, when are home prices? Yes, historically, home prices are still super high, right? A 10% drop probably just brings us to earlier in 2022 or brings us to sometime in 2021. But I think this is showing us that, hey, things are changing. We are seeing prices going down. There are opportunities for buyers to go out there and make offers on properties. They actually get properties much lower than what they're asking for. And so I think this is a great sign, but how much more further will they go? Well, I do want to look at how down prices have really gone, because yes, if you look at prices in the summer of 2022 and compare them to late of 2022, you'll just see how much prices actually really changed. All right, so if you look at this housing graph on Redfin, you see that in May, the median home price that they were reading was $432,000. And then if you look at November of 2022, it's listed at $393,000 for the median home price. So it went from 432 down to 393. So that's almost $40,000 decrease in the median home price for all of America, according to Redfin. And earlier, yeah, I just gave an example of San Diego, but if you take $40,000 of 432, that's close to that 10% drop in prices. And Redfin is already showing that we're there. And this is only showing the median home price for November. And I can guarantee you December is probably lower than it was in November. And so you're already seeing this 10% drop in home prices in America. And so when you hear all these experts saying, oh, well, I expect homes to go up this amount or housing prices to stay up. No, I mean, the economy is on a cycle. Like, we have to understand that there are highs and lows. There are peaks and troughs in this economic cycle. And so just be wary when you hear people saying, oh, you'll be fine. You know, your value of your house is fine. No, you have to really consider this. And in another video, I did mention that a lot of people that bought homes in 2022 using low down payments, a lot of them are underwater, meaning they owe more on the property than what's the actual value of the property, which can be a little bit scary. And so people who have waited patiently in order for prices to go down, you know, seeing this sign that prices are going down is great for them, because now they can pounce on opportunities out there. Now, home prices November of 2022 is still more than November of 2021. But I think this year in 2023, we are going to get prices that reflect prices in early 2021 or maybe in 2020. The other thing that I want to mention about home prices is that even though there are drops in home prices, affordability is still an issue. As I stated before, yes, a 10% drop is a good sign, but it's nowhere near where we need to be, because a 10% drop with higher interest rates, you're still at a worst case scenario as opposed to a higher price at a lower mortgage rate. It's very important to recognize that difference, because we still have a huge affordability issue. And according to Lance Lambert, he works for Fortune article, article, but he has this interesting chart that he posted on Twitter showing the Case Chiller U.S. National Home Price Index. And right here, he has this little, I guess, graph or Excel sheet, it seems like, where he says, okay, a 10% drop will just bring us to October 2021 levels. A 27% drop in prices from peak to trough, according to this Case Chiller U.S. National Home Price Index, not according to what we saw on Redfin or that other article, but according to this specific index, will only bring us to August 2022 levels, which is essentially good, but the huge hike in prices actually started around that time, right? When people got used to the pandemic and what was happening and started pouncing upon these low interest rates. And so, yes, it will be more affordable and bring us back to that level, but it's not bringing us back necessarily to pre-pandemic levels. It's bringing us to pandemic levels. And going back to the 10% drop that I've been researching in the housing market in 2022, the National Association of Realtors, the NAR, just released some information around the median home price. And so the median price of existing home sales fell from $413,000 around May and June of 2022 down to $370,000 in November of 2022. So that represents a $43,000 increase, which hits that 10% drop that I was talking about earlier and throughout this video that I've been reading that's happening in this market. So we already are seeing a 10% drop in 2022. So how much further will it go down in 2023? And these stats are just showing November median home prices. I can guarantee you that December median home prices will be lower than November median home prices. Now, one thing that I want to mention is that, yes, home prices are declining, but a lot of people still have a lot of equity in their properties. And yes, I know I made a video about how a lot of people are underwater on their mortgages for people who bought properties in 2022, but that's for people who bought properties using a low down payment mortgage. So either putting 3 or 3.5% down or even 0% down. But a lot of people put way more than that amount down. And a lot of people that bought their properties in 2021 and late 2020, they're going to be good even with a 15 to 20% drop in home prices. They will still have enough equity because home prices just exploded over the past 2 to 3 years. But seeing this 10% drop, it's good on one end because it makes it a little bit more affordable for people to buy properties, especially with high interest rates. But it's not so advantageous for people who bought properties in 2022, seeing their values of their home plummeting at the moment. Now let's talk about 2023 home prices and how much further do a lot of experts believe they will fall. Now, according to Ivy Zellman of Zellman and Associates, they predict that prices could fall as much as 20%. They state that, however, in markets without supply constraints like the Midwestern and Northeastern states, she says that declines could be in the mid-single percentage, so maybe like 5% down. And so in different areas, it depends on what's going on with the supply chain issue. Do they have an abundance of properties because developers just made so many properties and now prices are still high for those particular properties, but no one's buying them because mortgage rates are high and they can't afford them? Or in other areas where the supply chain is still relatively tight and so demand is still high and so prices are still relatively high. Now, Fannie Mae at first predicted that prices will grow 4.4%, so essentially stabilize in 2023, but they changed their expectations to having home prices fall 1.5% year over year. And this is Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae is a big deal in the mortgage industry. They are huge on conventional loans and just setting the different requirements for conventional conforming loans. And I think it's interesting that they only predict a 1.5% drop. It's because they essentially want people to know that the economy is all right and it's going to be all good because they want to sell as much mortgages as they can. Now here, Zillow's predicting that the price adjustment is going to be very slow. You're not going to see that huge price adjustment that everyone is hoping to see. And of course, this is Zillow. They want to sell as many homes as they can, or just be in that market of people coming on their website looking for houses. And so they're trying to put a good picture out there for the end user to know that, hey, prices are going to remain relatively high. Now, KPMG, one of the big four accounting firms, used to think that prices are going to drop just 15% from peak to drop. But now they predict that prices can fall as much as 20% year over year in the fourth quarter of 2023, which is very interesting because they're just looking at the data. They're just looking at the numbers and they're seeing this price drop. So essentially, let's say the median home price is $350,000 in December of 2022. They predict by the end of 2023, the median home price will be around $280,000, which sounds good, but we have to monitor mortgage rates because yes, $280,000 is great, but if there's high interest rates, maybe in the double digits that some experts are predicting, that's not more affordable than buying a $350,000 house at a much lower interest rate. So maybe interest rate will remain steady around 6%. Maybe it'll go a little bit lower or a little bit higher, between 7 and 8%. We never know. But I think it's interesting that KPMG is predicting a 20% drop when a lot of these other experts like Zillow, Freddie Mac, even some banks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they're predicting a less of a price drop in the single digits. And I don't see that happening. I think maybe KPMG, they just want to give you the raw accounting facts, just the numbers. And so they don't really have an angle on giving us good numbers or pleasable numbers like, oh, we're not going to have a huge drop. And so that's why I think their prediction is a little bit more realistic. And I definitely do personally seeing a 20% drop in home prices. Let me know what you think down below. How far will home prices fall in 2023? I would love to hear from you all down below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, trying to grow this channel this year in 2023 as we talk about the economy as a whole. All right, talk to you all later.